Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Rob's Arcade. I am your host, as always, Mr. Rob French, and it is Monday, so you know what that means. It is time for the Monday show, kind of where I hang out with you guys. Finally, a little bit earlier than normal. Typically, I'm like posting super late at night. You probably aren't getting the Monday show until Tuesday, and that is just not super fair. So yeah, here we are coming back to you guys a little bit earlier than normal, but kind of like a normal time. Um, for those of you who are not familiar with the Monday show, it's just where I kind of hang out with you guys, talk about the weekend, see how your weekend's going, see how your week is going, give you guys something other than work and school to think about, to focus on, and just kind of start your day off, your week off right. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. My weekend was pretty chill. If you've been kind of keeping up with some of the other Rob's Arcades, you know that my wife has had her dad in town, so we've just been doing a lot of family time, and that goes the same for this weekend. Her dad left Saturday, so we hung out with Marlene and her dad and everything on Friday night. And then Saturday, Carrie Ann was getting her nails done. Ooh, excuse me, they were cracking little knuckles. And was getting her nails done with Marlene, so I hung out with continued good behavior. Keep it up. I don't know about that. But yeah, so I hung out with Carrie Ann's, I guess it's her cousin Anthony, and we just played a bunch of like Sega games and stuff on Saturday, which was a lot of fun. I had some pizza. It was like a totally like gnarly Sega Genesis day, if you will. Just gaming up, just passing the sticks. Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, GoldenEye, not GoldenEye. What is it? What's the one with the Golden Axe? Excuse me. That's a whole other system altogether. But yeah, just a super cool day, and then we had pizza for dinner. So all of a sudden I'm like 12 years old again. And then yesterday was kind of like a chill, relaxing day. Wife at the grocery store, just kind of straightened up a little bit. Did a little bit of like some movie watching. Got some comic book reading in, some Stephen King stuff. So all in all, we had like a really good weekend. Ooh, a little Coca-Cola there coming back on you. And yeah, hopefully you guys had a good weekend too. Let me know in the comment section down below. That's what it's there for. I don't know what you guys did this weekend. Hopefully it was pretty relaxing. Great weather. Got a little rain in. It was kind of fun. Friday night, actually, we did some family time, and then the same thing. Like I said, Saturday. But at some point, we did watch a little Stephen King, and I found myself being super kind of like spooked out. We got a little bit of rain going on, and I mean it was kind of creepy. It got a little spooked out, and been actually kind of working on my own horror movie for Halloween. And gosh, it's like a little frustrating right now, actually. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and stand up here, and we're gonna head to the movies. I think that might be a fun idea. Let's just go ahead and head out to the movies real quick, because that's kind of what today's topic. I also like not only to kind of hang out with you guys and just give you guys something other to talk about besides movies and what have you, or excuse me, movies, work or school. But I want to give you guys something to kind of talk about too, which is going to be today we're going to hang out. We're going to talk about movies. I'm kind of working on one right now, and I'm running into a situation where I'm kind of losing cast. Never really had this problem before. I'll go ahead and let you guys pick what car I drive to the movie theater here. Which one do you think? I'll go ahead and give you guys a few minutes to kind of comment down below. We got this guy here. A lot of Bumblebee action going on, but I'll give you guys a few minutes to kind of comment down below on which car you think I should take to the movie theater. But yeah, I'm actually working on a movie, and this weekend kind of had some like falling outs with some of the cast and trying to recast this thing and trying to get this thing going. And it's just like I knew going into it that um, everything wouldn't work out just exactly right. But gosh, already like I'm running into problems where like I don't know how I'm gonna move forward and trying to like cast this thing. Did you guys pick this one? Just won this car. It's pretty sweet. Um, but I wanted to talk about movies in general because even though I'm kind of working on one and trying to figure out like how to get all the ins and outs, um, you know, to get these movies get a movie made. Oh, this guy's nice. Get out of my way. Do not hit this car. I will hurt you. But I want to talk about movies in general because you know oh god, don't hit my car and I damage it. Right? This thing is super touchy. Yeah. I'll try to be careful. It's like they want you to hurt this thing. You can't barely even touch the steering wheel. Just let the car guide itself. But yeah, growing up, movies have always been really like just a huge part of our lives. My dad used to take us to movies all the time, and so like, look out, Optimus. Got Speed going on here, Transformers, Speed. See, we got a lot of movie stuff going on. Told you guys, talking about movies. But even like I said, you know, making my own movie kind of got me thinking about like how important movies are to me. So my dad used to take us to the movies all the time. They had a video store right across the street from us growing up, and movies are just like, what the heck is going on over there? I don't even know. Like I said, movies have just always been like super important to us, and growing up, we saw so many movies in the 90s, so many movies in their like late 80s, early 90s. What's happening, man? Actually, everybody's recognizing me.
Hey man, what's up?
What's up, dude? Just hanging out, about to go see something? About to go watch a movie? But I wanted to kind of know, like, you know, what movies mean basically to you guys. Like, I love watching cinema. I love watching film. It's one of my favorite things. We had a video store like right across the street from us growing up. So even if we weren't going out and seeing movies on the weekends, we were renting movies. Sometimes we do both. We'd rent movies, we'd go to the theater. And so making a movie is kind of like one of those things where it's like coming full circle. You know, it's like one of those things like if you kind of grow up pretending to be a ballerina all your life and you want to be a ballerina, and then all of a sudden finally you find yourself in your own little, what are they called? I guess it's like the Nutcracker. It's like a symphony kind of a thing where there's ballet. A ballet. There you go. That's what it's called. A ballet. Jeez. Wow, Robert. Way to go. But all your life you want to be a dancer. Then finally you find yourself putting together your own ballet. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing right now. And in doing so, it's really kind of solidified what movies mean to me and how important they are to me. I wonder just, you know, if there's anybody out there, any of my fans out there who share that same passion. If there's any stories out there like the first time, you know, you remember going to the movies by yourself, or what was the first movie you remember seeing. I can kind of throw some of these out there myself. My dad says that the first movie I probably ever saw was Superman or Bambi in the theater. But like the drive-in theater, not like an actual theater. I want to say it's probably, given my love of comics and all of that, it was probably Superman. Only because I do remember seeing Bambi later and it totally just messing me up. Like, just really, like, you know, it's Bambi. Like, you're too young to kind of see those things. So, death and all of that. And so Bambi, E.T., those are kind of movies that like really messed me up when I was a kid. I didn't see them for like years and years and years again later. Oh, is this over? Really? Wow. But Superman was definitely like the first movie I saw in general. The first movie I saw by myself was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this was actually like a really... oh, Fred's pictures. I love this. It's actually like a pretty cute story. So... growing up, again, like my dad took us to see like everything that was important to see, you know, Wayne's World, Wayne's World 2, Home Alone, Home Alone 2, The Burbs we saw in the theater, Aladdin we saw in the theater, Beetlejuice, Batman, Batman Returns, Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Gremlins 2. I mean, so many. If it was worth watching, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. If it was worth watching, we saw it. Like, that's just all there was to it. And so, I remember when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. And even though I wasn't really into comics at this point, I actually did have a few, like, actual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle graphic comics. I don't mean the comic books where the turtles have red and orange and blue, purple headbands. All of the turtles had red headbands in the comics I had, or they were just in black and white. Like, they weren't, there was no color. There was no color at all, just the cover might have red headbands. And I remember Ninja Turtles coming out and really desperately wanting to see this movie. It was one of those things where, like, my dad would take us to see movies, and we never really knew what we were seeing, but we always enjoyed it. Like, I think when we saw Beetlejuice, I don't think Beetlejuice was something that was like, Dad, you have to take us to go see Beetlejuice. But, you know, when we got to, like, things like, you know, Batman Returns and Ninja Turtles, these are movies I wanted to see. These are movies like, Dad, you have to take me to go see this film. And so I do recall this was like a Friday night. My sister was staying the night with like a great aunt, you know, like she wanted to kind of do the sleepover tea party, play with dolls, the whole nine. And so she stays, oh wow, what if this is like a ghost story that I don't even know about. So she stays the night with a great aunt, and my dad takes me to go see Ninja Turtles. And like just as we're going in to see the movie, my dad gets a page. You know, this is the days of pagers and beepers. And so he goes to return the call, and it's my great aunt explaining how my sister's having like this crazy homesick attack, and she just wants to get home, and she's kind of freaking out a little bit. And so my dad's like, look, we have to go. You know, we have to leave. But I at this point am in completely, totally invested in seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, excuse me again, I shouldn't be drinking Coca-Cola while I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing that. But again, I'm like, I have to see this movie, right? So my dad's now stuck in this pickle dilemma situation where, like, okay, as a parent, you know, I have to go get my daughter. You know, she's having like this homesick, freaking out. She doesn't want to stay the night anymore at the great aunt's house. She's freaking out. I have to go get my daughter. But my son has basically like buckled himself into the idea that he's going to watch this Ninja Turtle movie. And so my dad did what any responsible father would do. And basically he bought my ticket, he got me seated, a popcorn, my drink, and he sat me in a theater and he said, you're going to stay right here. You're going to sit right here, and it's like, this is right here, like what I'm looking at. You're going to sit right here in this seat, and you're going to eat your popcorn, you're going to watch the movie, you're not going to get up, okay? When the movie's over, you go out into the lobby, and I will meet you there. Okay. And so, my dad had like 2 hours, basically. And so, my dad was amazing. He went, he picked up my sister, he let me watch the movie by myself, and then he came back to the theater, and he was in the lobby waiting for me when, you know, when I got there. I don't know if my sister was waiting with us as well. I don't know if it's one of those things where, like, he went home, dropped her off first. I don't know. I kind of feel like he wouldn't have done that because I don't think he would want my mom to know, like, yeah, I left our son at the theater by himself. I was like 9 years old, maybe 10. I think I was like 9 years old. I'm pretty sure I was like 9. So I'm 9 years old, I'm in the theater by myself, and I'm watching this movie. And some people might think like, you know, what is that going on right there, baby? Some people might think like, oh man, you know, like how in the world did you feel safe? You weren't scared? No. I was completely
I'm in the middle of something.
I want to say this was like opening weekend. I think this was like opening weekend of Ninja Turtles. I'm sitting in the theater by myself watching this movie, and I was completely in love. Like, it was such a great film in general. Like, perfect, you know? It was everything I'd like read at that point, you know, like the animated series and stuff was great. Some of the comics they were doing were really fun. But honestly, like, some of the first exposure to Ninja Turtles I had were like the graphic novels, the black and whites, the all red headbands. And so seeing this film was really, like, to me, like the perfect adaptation of like what the original Turtles was supposed to be. But so there I am. I'm like 9 years old. I'm watching the movie by myself. I'm having a great time. And then when it was all over, my dad was there waiting for me. I went home. It was truly one of those experiences that, like, you know, my love for film, my love for movies and all of that, it was definitely solidified in that moment. A lot of the people I talked to, when they talk about the first movie they went to the theater and saw by themselves, they were like 16, 15, well, like, yeah, like 15 to 17 years of age, kind of like that driving stage. Your friends, maybe you have a license, so you and a couple of friends go to the movies without your parents. And I guess that's what I mean. When you go to the movies without your parents, not necessarily, I guess, by yourself, but the first time you go to the movies without your parents, kind of a situation. Like I said, I was 9 years old watching the original Ninja Turtles. Like, those experiences like that, like, they just don't, they don't get much better. And so, like I said, and kind of like making my own movie and kind of dealing with some adversities with, like, casting and everything going on right now, it just really made me realize how much I love movies and kind of behind the scenes and what goes into making movies, and how, like, you know, movies like Jaws and things, like, we love them today, but they were hard to make. Like, nothing really worked out all that well. Back to the Future, they had to recast it, you know. It's kind of same things like I'm kind of dealing with right now. But like I said, just kind of awoke some of these feelings and some of these emotions that I truly do have for film and cinema, and just like how much I do love this genre of or medium of storytelling. And so I just kind of wanted to, like, throw that out there with you guys and just kind of see if there's anything out there for you guys that, like, if there's any moment like that first time, you know, you remember going to the movies yourself, the first date, your first date movie, the first movie you cried. Braveheart. I think for me, I think it was Braveheart. It was either Braveheart or Lion King that I really remember getting emotional. But I want to say it was Braveheart, and kind of those things like where I was just watching it. Something my dad rented from the video store across the street. Got off of work one night at like 15 years old. Popped it in, thinking I would just probably fall asleep. Next thing I know, it's like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm bawling my eyes out over William Wallace. You know. So yeah, I wanted to know some of these stories with you guys. Like, what movie sparked that emotion with you? If there's a movie that kind of like inspired you, have you made a movie? Is there something out there that, like, you've watched and it's inspired you to say, hey man, like, I want to do this. I want to make my own film. So that's kind of what today's episode is all about. You know, for me, comic books and movies, they're not 386 years later, I love that. For me, they're not just entertainment. Like, you know, they are, of course. But I mean, these are stories, like, something in, like, you know, I have my own stories, my own stories I want to tell, and there's something in there sometimes. Like, sometimes there's like life experience or something that happens in these people's lives, and like they kind of, like, you know, spawn these movie ideas, and these ideas that, like, you know, I want to tell this story, I want to tell this movie idea. And it's just like music. It's like any other, you know, art, paintings and stuff like that. There's a lot of heart and stuff in these. Like, here I'm talking about heart and emotion, and here we go. We got two robots coming to life. Yes. But for some people, you know, it's not just they're not just movies. It's something very. Well, the movies have closed for the night. Yeah, for some people, it's not just film. It's not just art. It's something very much more to that. And it's kind of, like I said, like, kind of how I feel. Like, why I wanted to talk about this. I want to know. Like I said, I want to hear some stories from you guys. Like I said, what your first movie was? The first date movie. What's your first date movie, guys? Put it down in the comment. What's the first movie you saw by yourself?
I gotta get home and get my camera.
Do you remember?
Ahora?
Shut up. Yeah, it is. Do you remember the first, like I said, do you remember like video rentals? Blockbuster. Do you remember Blockbuster before it went to like strictly like DVD? Do you remember like the VHS? Be kind. Please rewind. Our first date movie was, I think, Mortal Kombat. No, I take that back. My sister went with me on my first date movie. It's kind of like a chaperone.
Don't.
It was for the latest in the Freddy series. What is it? The New Nightmare movie. My dad dropped my sister, myself, and my girlfriend off at the theater, and my sister was there as kind of like a spy. Make sure you son of a beach. Yeah, to make sure they're not making out too much. Blah 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 blah. But like honestly, like you know, at that point in my life, I think horror movies were more important than kind of like making out with a girl, especially if my sister was right there. Like, I mean, I guess it was kind of like a good plan on my dad's part. But like, really, like, I think like even if my sister hadn't been there, I just would have been like too invested in the new Friday the 13th film to really. This car's going to need. I'm going to take this car into the shop and get like some stuff done on the suspension and everything else. This thing's all over the road. But I think I would have been like so invested. I mean, like I was such a huge Friday the 13th and you know Nightmare on Elm Street fan growing up that I don't know. Like given the fact that we were watching the next you know evolution in Freddy, I don't know that I necessarily would have been like, oh man, you know. Make out with my girlfriend. By the time Anaconda came out, yeah, totally. Like I think I was more interested in girls than I was in the movie. But at that point, no, I don't really think so. The first movie we saw together was the same girlfriend, actually. Believe it or not, the same girlfriend. The first movie we saw by ourselves was Mortal Kombat. Speaking of Mortal Kombat. What is this dude? Everybody's always hanging on my porch. I don't get it. This isn't like an apartment complex. Like, look, I'm just gonna walk across the street real quick. Like, look, these are individual homes. Like, this guy's got a home here, right here. I'm actually pointing with my finger, like you guys can see. Over there's like this is my house. I don't know why this guy's always. There's always people just kind of hanging out over here. It really upsets me, man. Speaking of Mortal Kombat. Finish him! Really? That was it? Oh, $10. Get out of here, dude.
Whack, son.
Yeah, it's whack. Every day, man. People outside my crib. For no reason, son. Alright, so there we are. We're talking about movies a little bit. Also on Monday, I like to give you guys something else new, a mandatory Monday, which is something that, like, you know, you have to do. You don't necessarily do, but I'm giving it to you. And mandatory Monday. It's October. It's time for Halloween. So your mandatory Monday this week, even if you don't like horror movies, if you're watching, you're like, nah, dude, I don't really do horror movies. I don't really do them. I don't really watch them. This is your mandatory Monday. Watch horror movies, and not just horror movies, but watch the horror movies you haven't wanted to see. Watch the Rob Zombie ones, the John Carpenter movies. Watch all of those George A. Romero films. Watch a horror movie this week. That's what I want you to do. Get into Halloween. Get into being scared. Get into being spooky. Because like I said, this is kind of what this whole episode is about. Horror movies. I'm making a horror movie or watching horror movies. Horror movies is where it all started for me. It's where my love for movies just in general generated. So mandatory Monday, get out there and watch something spooky. Oh, here we go. Bar 4 is telling us it's about time for us to wrap up this episode, which is about appropriate. I feel like this is kind of exactly what I wanted to do. I just wanted to hang out. Just wanted to talk to you guys, talk about movies, talk about my love for movies. And I want you guys to hit that comment section. To me, like, this, me getting up here and talking is one thing, but really the only reason I'm here is because I'm more interested in what's going on with you guys. How was your weekend? What's your favorite movie? The first movie you saw by yourself, your first date movie. If you're too young to even go on a date, what do you think your first date movie would be? If you were going on a date, what would that movie be? Talk to me, guys. Let me know. As always, don't forget to check that comment section. We're giving away free Marvel comic books. It's really simple. Just go to marvel.com/redeem. Enter the codes I leave down in the comment sections of my videos, and you can get some free comic books. We can hang out, talk about comics. You can read it, tell me what you thought. I don't know if I'm making an impact. If you guys don't let me know. That's the scariest. That's the scariest movie of all. Anyway, guys, this is not goodbye. Simply to be continued. Thank you so much for hanging out. And until next time, do not spend that quarter anywhere else. Hit that comment section. Hit the like button. Share the video. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, guys. Until next time, love you much. Later.